The world's balance is shifting in silence as powerful nations weave an alliance hidden from the public eye. But is this the dawn of a new world order, or the beginning of a shadow war no one is prepared for? Behind closed doors, in a summit shrouded in secrecy, the world's balance of power quietly begins to shift. What looks like a simple gathering of nations under the banner of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is in truth far more than routine diplomacy. Away from cameras, away from scripted smiles, something deeper brews. An alliance not spoken of openly, but felt like the quiet tremor before an earthquake. The SCO has always been presented as a regional cooperation forum, but recent developments suggest that this summit is no longer just about trade or security. The stakes have risen. India, China and Russia now find themselves standing at a crossroads, facing a West that has grown more divided, more aggressive and more suspicious. Every handshake behind those guarded walls carries the weight of history. Every word exchanged is a step toward a future the outside world is not yet prepared to understand. The secrecy surrounding the meeting is intentional, a reminder that great shifts in power rarely announce themselves with fanfare. They begin in whispers, in concealed discussions, and in decisions made under dimmed lights, where the fate of nations is decided without the world even knowing it. Three giants, India, China, Russia, are moving closer together, not by chance, but by design. Their histories are tangled with rivalry, mistrust, and even open conflict, yet beneath those scars lies a new recognition of necessity. India brings demographic strength, a booming market, and a position as a bridge between East and West. China carries the economic engine of the world, a manufacturing superpower with ambitions that stretch across continents. Russia, armed with resources and military might, stands defiant in the face of Western sanctions, isolation. Each of these powers has faced the pressure of Western dominance in different ways, but all three share one common thread: the desire to break free from a system long controlled by others. Their convergence is not an accident of geography, but a deliberate recalibration of global influence. Old disputes are set aside when greater threats loom, and what once divided them now pales against the weight of shared purpose. In secret halls and whispered agreements, a blueprint for a new order takes shape, one that challenges the familiar balance and hints at a world where these three forces no longer walk alone but march side by side. Is this alliance the birth of a new world order, or the dawn of a silent Cold War against the West? The question hangs heavy in every analysis, every whispered conversation among diplomats who fear the answer. The rise of India, China and Russia together represents more than just cooperation. It signals a shift that could redefine how power is distributed across the globe. A new world order suggests the possibility of balance where multiple centers of power exist, reducing the dominance of any single bloc. Yet, the undercurrents of suspicion point to something far darker, a gradual build-up of tension, strategies woven in secrecy, and rival blocs preparing to outmaneuver each other without ever declaring open conflict. The West sees this gathering not as harmless diplomacy, but as the gathering storm of opposition. Sanctions, trade wars, and military posturing become the silent language of confrontation. If this alliance grows stronger, the old order led by Western powers could find itself facing a mirror image. A coalition equally capable of shaping economies, controlling resources, and defining narratives. The uncertainty lies in whether this path leads to equilibrium, or whether it sets the stage for a conflict fought in shadows without ever firing a shot. The West watches nervously, but the true intentions of this alliance remain hidden in shadow. On the surface, official statements speak of cooperation, peace and development, yet beneath the polished words lies a game of strategy that no press release can capture. Western capitals monitor every move, every trade agreement, every military drill, every diplomatic gesture, searching for clues about what is really being planned. Their unease is not without reason. The alignment of India, China and Russia threatens to reshape global power in ways that could diminish Western influence. But the enigma is deliberate. These nations reveal only fragments of their plans, never the whole picture, forcing rivals to guess at motives and strategies. Is this unity meant to simply balance global power? Or is it an attempt to quietly undermine the systems the West has built? The silence of secrecy becomes its own weapon, creating uncertainty and fear in those who are left out. As Western leaders debate responses, the alliance gains time to consolidate, to grow, and to test how far it can stretch its influence without provoking open confrontation. What remains unseen becomes more dangerous than what is declared, and that hidden uncertainty is the true source of power. Energy, military strength, and shared resentment are fueling an unexpected unity. Russia sits on vast reserves of oil and gas, resources the world still depends on despite sanctions and shifting markets. China, with its insatiable hunger for energy to power factories, cities, and global trade ambitions, finds in Russia both a supplier and a partner against Western pressure. India, though historically more aligned with non-alignment, now sees the advantage of securing energy stability while strengthening its own military posture in a turbulent region. Together, these elements create a web of interdependence that binds the three powers closer with each passing year. Beyond resources, there is also resentment. Resentment of decades of Western dominance, of sanctions used as political weapons, of narratives written in favor of the West while painting others as threats. It is this shared discontent that provides the emotional core of the alliance, the glue that makes cooperation possible despite internal rivalries. Military drills, joint projects, and agreements on energy corridors are not just symbolic. They are signals to the world that this partnership is evolving into something far stronger. When energy, arms, and anger converge, they create momentum that can no longer be ignored by those watching from afar. Kardsko, what does this mean for smaller nations caught between the East and the West, pawns in a game they didn't choose to play? For countries outside the circle of great powers, the rise of an India-China-Russia alliance creates both opportunity and peril. On one side, they may benefit from new trade routes, energy deals, and investments that offer an escape from dependence on Western-controlled systems. On the other side, aligning with such a bloc risks angering the West, which still controls much of the global financial system, technology networks, and military alliances. 4. Smaller nations often survive by balancing between larger powers, but as the divide deepens, neutrality becomes harder to maintain. They may be forced to take sides not out of choice, but out of necessity. For nations in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, this could mean sudden shifts in alliances, economic promises tied to political loyalty, and the looming threat of becoming battlegrounds for influence. The larger powers play their game of strategy, but the cost is often borne by the smaller ones who risk being crushed in the collision of titans. In this struggle, their sovereignty hangs by a thread, shaped by forces beyond their control. When shadows grow longer on the world stage, it is not the loudest voices that shape history, but the quiet alliances forged in secrecy. The rise of India, China, and Russia together signals more than strategy. It signals transformation. Whether this path leads to balance or to silent conflict, one truth remains. The global order we have known is changing before our very eyes. The question is not whether the world will shift, but how prepared we are to face what comes next. Thank you for lending me your time and attention. May clarity guide your thoughts, courage shape your actions, and wisdom help you see beyond the surface. Good luck, and may we all stand ready for the future that is already unfolding.